Hello everyone and welcome to another top 10 video. Today I just want to count down the top 10 Clone Wars era sets. If you do enjoy the video, please go ahead and give it a like. I would greatly appreciate to see that. Lets me know what sort of content you guys want to see, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Also worth mentioning that this isn't going to include any of the Episode 2 or Episode 3 era sets. Really only the sets that were originally released back when the Clone Wars was new before Disney canceled it, so none of the sets that could be Episode 3, could be Clone Wars. We're just going to be looking strictly at the TV show cartoon base sets. So let's go ahead and start off with number 10. Alright, coming in at number 10, we have the set number 8018. This is the Armored Assault Tank, the AAT. I believe this was released in 2009. This was the only to date, at least in 2020, we're supposed to get a new one, but the only to date Separatist themed AAT, and it's probably the most realistic sized one as well. I think they really nailed the proportions pretty well. I believe it retailed at $40, which is a really good price for this back in the day. It comes with a piece count of 407 pieces, so it's a pretty decent sized set. Some great minifigures there as well, especially for the $40 price point, and it's a really awesome set. I don't think they'll ever make an AAT that is going to be in this size proportion for quite a while. I don't think the $40 one this year is going to be quite this big, but I really like this one, and I'm hoping that the new one is going to be just as good. At number 9, we have set number 8014. This is the OG Clone Wars Clone Walker Battle Pack. This is probably what many would consider to be the best battle pack ever. You get 3 white clone troopers, some armor additions, and the gunner, all for $10 with a pretty decent build. Most of the sets don't have too great of builds in the modern day battle packs, and I think this one is all right. I don't think it's too bad, especially since this came out in 2009. It's not bad at all. Back in the days when the battle packs cost only $10 a piece, so I don't expect to ever get anything like this again. Obviously, the 501st set's going to cost $30. We're just never going to see a day where we're going to get 3 clones in a single $10 set. That's just not really possible in today's market, but this is what got a lot of people into the collecting and what got a lot of people into the Clone Wars, Clone Army building. The nostalgia of those days were awesome. So yeah, this one ranks still on the list, even though most of the time a battle pack wouldn't be on this. I think this one really certainly crosses that threshold, so this one had to find a spot on the list somewhere. Now, for the rest of the list, I feel like it's going to be a little bit larger of sets just because they seem to really capture the era quite well. And we're going to start that off with set number 9515. This is the Malevolence, the only Separatist capital ship we've ever gotten to date. And I would love to see them remake this, of course, not as much as the Venator, but we will get to that in a moment. And this one comes with some pretty decent minifigs as well. I would have liked to have seen some clone troopers, but I feel like this is still just a really great set. It's a set that I think is underrated quite a bit. It includes a lot of pieces. It's got 1,092 pieces, so it's a pretty decent sized set. And all around, I think this is something that people should give more credit for. And I think that this set should be definitely considered for a remake. Maybe not the Malevolence itself, but some sort of a Separatist capital ship similar to this. Really awesome set and really one of a kind throughout this era. This was another set that kind of screams nostalgia to me as well. And coming in at number 7, I mentioned the Republic capital ships, so kind of staying on the same trend. We have the Venator class Republic attack cruiser, set number 8039. Of course, we all know this isn't really a cruiser, it's a Venator class Star Destroyer, but regardless, still an awesome set. One that looks a little bit off to the dimensions, but it's interesting how like a set can still look off, but just because of the sci-fi aspect, it can still look good, even though it's not totally in-universe accurate. I mean, obviously you wouldn't look at a modern-day vehicle that just has a wonky build and think it was awesome, but this set definitely is. 1,170 pieces. This set's pretty expensive on eBay. I really want to get this set, but it's like $200, and I just can't justify the purchase when I could potentially be saving that money for a new Venator that I hope comes out. So, similar to the previous set, I really hope they redo this set. I really hope we get some more Clone Wars era capital ships, and this set would be awesome to have in a remake. At number 6, I wanted to include the ATTE somewhere on this list just because I feel like it's pretty iconic. Of course, this is set number 7675. This was Captain Rex's first appearance in the set, which of course was a good addition as well. It just doesn't rank quite as high for me just because it And not that the dimensions are off, but we've just had a few different renditions of the set, so it's really not quite as special. Although I think this is the best of the three ever made. It just doesn't rank quite as high as the other ones for me, even though you do get some really awesome minifigures, and this really is just quite a classic. This came out right at the start of the Clone Wars series in 2008, so the set still had to find its way on the list, but it just isn't as good as some of the upcoming vehicles to me, though. One set that surprisingly beat it out for me was the Republic Fighter Tank, set number 7679. This coming in at the number 5 spot, and I believe that this is probably the best tank that has ever been made. I don't think it gets the dimensions right, but it's almost like the Republic version of the AAT from the era, and it's an awesome set. I really like this one. Of course, they made a newer model, as I mentioned, the 2017 one. I think this one's a little bit better. I think there's just a lot better features on it. It just looks a lot sleeker in my opinion, and I'm really glad they remade this set. This one is, I think, a really underrated Clone Wars set. It really captures the feel of the era quite well, and it really is nostalgic for me. So that's not the only reason I chose it, but I think it's an awesome set. I think there's few tanks that have been able to hold up to this standard for the price point that you got for it back in 2008. At the number 4 spot, we have the Republic Frigate, set number 7964. This could be my personal favorite Clone Wars set. I don't think it's quite the best, but it definitely has my favorite minifigures of them all. The Commander Wolf, the Wolfpack Trooper, the 3 Jedi, really some minifigures you didn't expect to get in a set. And it's a pretty decent price point, $120 back in the day for what you get here. It goes for a lot more than that. The figures are worth about the original price of the set right now. So you're lucky to find this with the figures. I actually ended up having to buy the set separate and then buy all the minifigures individually just to save a little bit of money. But it's an awesome set. It definitely belongs on this list. I think the minifigures is what makes it as high as it is personally. But they captured it well. It's an iconic vehicle, one that you see quite a bit throughout the series. So I really think they did a good job in making this, and I think it was an awesome addition to the Clone Wars collection. Following kind of the larger Clone Wars vehicle, or should I say Republic class vehicle, we have the Clone Turbo Tank set number 8098. By far the best rendition of this set out of the few that they've made. I think they've made 3 different ones. I think it's the biggest of them all. It came out in 2010. It's just really iconic. I have this set. It's never been one of my personal favorites, just because I never have liked the vehicle itself a lot. But it is a really awesome set, and some more iconic figures you see from the season 2, I think, like the Cad Bane there, and of course Ahsoka, some clone troopers, and Ayla Secura. I think that was the first time we got Ayla Secura, and then of course there's Anakin in there as well. Some great little mini builds. I think there's a lot of great features on the set. It's definitely not just a hunk that sits on a shelf, a hunk of plastic. You know, there's a lot of things that make this set desirable for different age categories, but it really does look good in mocks. A lot of people, for me personally, I just remember seeing this in mocks back in the day, and really an awesome set, and it definitely deserves to be in the top 5 on this list. Number 2 is actually a really tough spot to choose because I feel like I should have this as the number 1, but hopefully you assume what's coming instead of this. This is the ATOT or the Dropship, should I say, with the ATOT, set number 10195. It's kind of considered a UCS set, I guess. I think the box art you kind of claimed it was a UCS at least. Um, or maybe not, I could be wrong. It's just kind of on the bubble in terms of being a UCS set, but it is a really big set. It's got almost 2,000 pieces in it, and this is a set that goes for $1,000 or more right now. It retailed at 250 bucks. I remember always wanting this thing when I was little, but really awesome set. I doubt they'll ever remake this, but the idea for it was great, and one of the sets you don't expect to see. One of the really only to scale in terms of minifigures and the set. You get 6 clone troopers, you get 2 pilots. It's a really awesome set. Definitely one that I really would like to see them do again. One that I'd love to have, but one that I probably never will just because it's so expensive. But definitely belongs, without a surprise, right at the top of this list. And the only one that I see that really beats it out that you guys talk about all the time is the Republic Attack Gunship set number 7676. This is the most iconic set from the era, in my opinion. That set that a lot of us grew up with, and I really like the design on it. I don't think I like it quite as much as the 2013 Gunship, but I do really like the fully enclosed troop bay area. I think you get some good minifigures with it. Um, I really hope they remake a gunship like this for the Clone Wars era, maybe in 2021. I doubt they will. We're getting a UCS version, so I'm kind of curious to see if they're going to make like an Episode 2 era version, or if they're going to make the Clone Wars version like this with the fully enclosed doors there. But it is a great set. Definitely belongs at the top of the list, I think, just because it's most iconic and a set that lots of people had in different stop motions, different mocks throughout the different years, and really an awesome set, and it definitely, in my opinion, belongs at the #1 spot. That's all I really have for this video. I'd like to thank you all for viewing. The idea kind of came from multiple people commenting on all the different Clone Wars sets that I had in my collection, and I just felt like making a video to count down some of the top ones. If you want to see more top 10 videos, be sure to let me know. If you haven't already, like the video and go ahead and subscribe, and thank you all for viewing, and have a great day.